So as you all know that in this particular course, we are going to discuss about AWS services as well as DevOps tools. So what are the AWS tools we are going to discuss? Before we learn all the services, we will have some introduction regarding what is AWS and what are the services we are going to discuss in the AWS cloud. So let me start with what is AWS. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. What is this AWS? AWS is a cloud platform. AWS is a cloud platform. We know that. So why we are preferring cloud platform today? We know what is AWS. AWS is a cloud platform. What is cloud? So let me tell you one small example to understand what is cloud and all. See, suppose if you are not clear to understand what is cloud and all, it is a very simple example to understand. See, we all know Google Drive. And we will be storing our data inside. We will be storing our data in the Google Drive. Whenever we have some personal data, photos, whatever it is, we used to store our data in the Google Drive. So whenever you are storing your data in the Google Drive, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that we are storing our data in the cloud. So storing data in the Google Drive doesn't mean that storing our data in the cloud. So what are the advantages when we go with the cloud platform? Today, everyone, most of the clients, most of the companies, they are going to utilize the services provided by the cloud. Everyone is preferring to use the cloud services. What are the reasons why they are preferring the cloud services? We'll understand now. So before we understand the advantages of AWS cloud, not only AWS, whatever the cloud you take, these advantages will be there. So before that, let's understand some introduction part about Amazon. So we know what is Amazon. Amazon is a American multi-billion-dollar company. So it was there in the USA, headquartered in Washington, right? And it was started in the year 1995 by Jeff Bezos. So first they started this Amazon company as an online bookstore. Later, they got into some electronic devices, like they got into some electronics, like DVDs, selling DVDs, DVDs, okay, MP3, see all those things. They got into electronics later. They initially started as an online bookstore, and later they got into some electronics. And in the year 2006, see, Amazon company was established in the year 1995 as an online bookstore. This is the first time they established the company in the year 1995 as an online bookstore. Later, in the year 2006, Amazon officially launched AWS, and it is providing almost 250 plus services. In the year 2006, Amazon officially launched the AWS, and it became a major cloud provider today. It became a major cloud provider of cloud computing services, okay? So this is a small thing we need to understand about Amazon. And one more thing, I told you that Amazon is having how many services? If you want to know how many services are there in the Amazon cloud, there are closely up to 250 plus services. There are more than 250 plus services. And how many regions AWS is located? AWS infrastructure is located in 25 geographical regions. If you don't understand what is the geographical regions, slowly we will understand. That doesn't mean that AWS has located its infrastructure in 25 geographical regions, meaning in India, we have a region called Mumbai. So AWS infrastructure was there in the Mumbai region. Similarly, in US, consider some regions are there. North Virginia, AWS infrastructure was there. Similarly, if you go to some other regions like Singapore, like that, I'll show you what are the regions we're having. So whatever the region you want to go, you can go there. and you can establish your set up your infrastructure. So AWS is located in 25 geographical regions, means AWS has set up its infrastructure in 25 geographical regions, and Hyderabad is also soon they already started. They already started setting up the infrastructure in Hyderabad. Very soon, we are going to use Hyderabad as one of the regions of AWS, one of the geographical regions of AWS. So they are maintaining their infrastructure in Hyderabad also. So like that, there are 25 geographical locations. They are called as regions, 25 geographical regions. Now, and we go to the next one, what actually AWS offer? So AWS will offer us scalability, availability, and pay-as-you-go model. We need to understand whenever we are talking about the advantages of cloud, what are the advantages of cloud we are having? See, these are the main advantages we are having when compared to the on-premises infrastructure or on-premises services. Let me tell you what is availability and all. See, to understand availability, we're taking a small example. Consider you have a pen drive and you have a pen drive of 8 GB and you are storing some data, you are storing your personal data in the 8 GB, whatever it is, either your personal data or whatever it is. You are storing some data in the pen drive. So whenever you are storing the data in the pen drive, so after some period you got realized, okay, after certain amount of time, after certain period of time, you got realized that this 8 GB pen drive is not sufficient, is not at all sufficient for me. So I would like to buy 16 GB pen drive. So you have decided that you want to buy a 16 GB pen drive. And today that data is being increased in large amounts, right? Even you buy 16 GB pen drive also, it will not be sufficient for you to store the data. Maybe in the future, you may require some other capacity. So after a few days, again, you got realized and you went to purchase 32 GB pen drive. So what is happening here? You are unable to guess your requirements, right? We are unable to guess our requirements. So we are buying an 8 GB pen drive. Later, that 8 GB pen drive will become useless. Why? Because we require some more storage. That's why we are going to buy 16 GB. And after that, we are looking for the highest requirements like 32 GB, 64 GB, and it will keep on going. It will keep on going. So based on your requirements, you are going to guess and yes, based on your requirements, you are going to get the infrastructure. Okay, based on your requirements, you are going to get the infrastructure. Maybe even if you bought a 16 GB pen drive, that 16 GB pen drive will not be sufficient. That's why you may go to 32 GB or 64 GB pen drive and all. So what is this? And see, whatever the example I have told you now, that example is related to scalability. I'm talking about scalability. See, actually, whenever you purchase an infrastructure, that will not be having an instant elasticity, right? See, either you cannot scale up that, you cannot scale down that. Suppose if you, in case of our example, in case of pen drive only. So suppose if I want to increase my capacity of the pen drive, I cannot increase it. I have to purchase a new one. So that is not possible in case of on-premises. In the same scenario, the same example you take, if you want to store your data in the Amazon cloud, you can store it. You are most welcome. You can store your data. And we will be paying only for the size we are using. We are not paying much. We will be paying only for the size of data we are going to use. That is called scalability, ability to grow in size. Ability to grow in size. That means, so suppose today you have only 5 GB of data you have stored there. Tomorrow you want to increase that. You have 10 GB of data. Yes, you are most welcome. You can store your 10 GB data and you can pay for the 10 GB size you are using. So like that, whatever the size you are going to use, we will be paying for that only. That is called scalability. Scalability is nothing but ability to grow in size. Scalability means ability to grow in size. And here we have mentioned one point very clearly. Eliminate guessing on your infrastructure capacity. So eliminate guessing on your infrastructure capacity needs. So what we are doing here, we don't need to guess our infrastructure. We don't need to guess our capacity of the infrastructure. It doesn't matter whether you are going to store 10 GB data or 15 GB data. You don't need to worry about the size of the data you have. Even though you have 1 GB of data, you can store it. Even though you have 100 GB of data, you can store it. Only thing is, we will be paying for the size of the storage we are using in the cloud. Like on-premises, like pen drive, we don't need to worry about the size. Suppose if you have 50 GB data, consider you have 50 GB data, 50, and you have only 32 GB pen drive. Is it possible to store 50 GB data into 32 GB pen drive? Not at all possible. It is not at all possible to store the 15 GB data into 32 GB pen drive. That's why we are going with what? We may better we go with cloud, so that elasticity will be there. Whenever we want to store the data, we can store irrespective of the size. We don't need to think about the size, right? We can store any amount, any size of data. We can store the data with any size, but the only thing is we will be paying for the size we are going to use. So that is the thing we have understood regarding scalability. So then what is availability? See, suppose if I got a pen drive, if I have a pen drive, maybe consider I'm storing some data in my pen drive. Maybe I lost this pen drive. So once I lost this pen drive, what happens? Whatever the data I have stored in it, I'm going to lose the entire data, right? So otherwise, even if I do not lose that, there are chances that pen drive may get corrupted. Whatever the pen drive you have, that may get corrupted. That time also, there are chances to lose the data. There are many chances to lose our data. So that's why try to understand what do you mean by availability. If we store our data in the pen drive, it is not guaranteed, right? It is not, we cannot say that 100% data is available. Why? Because we may lost our pen drive, or otherwise our pen drive may get corrupted, whatever might happens. So that's why what we are going to do is we may choose to store our data in the cloud. If I store my data in the cloud, it will be 100% available. Whenever I want to access the data, I can access my data only by having some internet connection. Suppose if I have internet connection, I can access my data at any point of time from anywhere. So that is why availability is one of the advantages where we can choose our cloud platform. We can store our data in the cloud platform, not only for storing the data. Similarly, if you are going to use some services, you want to create some server, right? You want to use some servers. What we will do, we will buy some servers. We will buy some computers. We will maintain all those servers in the server room. So some maintenance is required. Manpower is required. Maintenance is required for that. Maybe we will keep much amount. We'll be keeping more on the infrastructure also. So now what is happening? Amazon Cloud is providing you the infrastructure with very low of cost, with very less cost when compared to the infrastructure that we are buying. Suppose if we buy the infrastructure, it may cost very much high. So you are going to spend a lot on the infrastructure. But you see, the same infrastructure Amazon is providing as a service. Amazon is providing the infrastructure as a service. The same servers you can create in the Amazon cloud. You can work with those servers in the Amazon cloud. What happens that time? You don't need to worry about the investment, and very low cost we are paying for them. So that is one advantage we are having with the cloud today. We are getting the infrastructure also as a service. Amazon is providing the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure in the sense what? Storage. If you want to store, storage is providing. If we want some servers to work on your projects, to work on your software projects, definitely Amazon is also going to provide you some servers. So this is called availability. Availability means what? If you store data in the pen drive, that may not be available 100%. But if you store data in the Amazon cloud, that will be available. That will be available for 100%. Okay, just by having internet connection, you can access your data. That is what we can do. Scalability means I already told you. See, if you have the pen drive, you cannot increase. You can increase. You can increase the size. You can increase the size only by buying a new pen drive. Suppose if you have an 8 GB pen drive, you can expand its size only for going with the 16 GB pen drive. That's it. Once you came to know, otherwise, once you come to know that 16 GB is also not sufficient, you will be opting the 32 GB pen drive. Otherwise, 64 GB pen drive. Like that, your investment on the infrastructure. I'm sorry. So like that, your investment on the infrastructure will keep on going. Your investment on the infrastructure will keep on going. Next one is pay as you go. What is this pay as you go? Pay as you go means we are going to pay only for the services we'll be using. Very low ongoing cost. You don't need to pay for all the services. Once you have an account, once you have an AWS account, you don't need to pay for all the AWS services. So we will be paying only for the services. We will be paying only for the services that we will be utilizing. Pay as you go. We'll be paying only for the services we are going to use. So after that, then you can see so this is the Gartner Magic Quadrant. This particular organization will give you some data based on some survey. So this what is this saying? It is saying like Amazon Web Services is the leading cloud provider. Amazon Web Services is the leading cloud provider, but there are also some challenges. There are some competitors as well as challenges. See, Microsoft Azure, Google. You see here, Amazon is the leading cloud provider. Azure as well as Google are the competitors for the Amazon cloud. Maybe tomorrow they might reach to the position of AWS. We cannot say that, but anyhow, now AWS is leading. AWS is having many clients. AWS is expanding its regions. AWS is on the farm now. Okay. And Azure, Google Cloud, both are also the competitors for AWS. There are some other clouds also like Alibaba Cloud, Oracle Cloud, IBM Cloud. There are many other clouds which will be coming into the race in the future. So next, these are the services we are going to discuss in the AWS Cloud, right? These are the services we will be going to discuss about AWS Cloud. So we'll be discussing about all the list of, these are the list of services. See, we will be going to discuss, we'll be discussing about each and every one in detail. Right? First, we will start with a service called EC2. So whatever the slide I'm showing you here, so I'll be discussing on these services with you. If you want, you can take the snapshot, or if you can take the photograph of this list of services. I'll be discussing with you on these services, okay, in detail, in real time, how actually we use in the real time. In the same way, we will be using them, okay, not the theoretical part. We'll be discussing with you in the real time. So first service we are going to discuss is EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. So before we go and discuss all these services, we should have an idea on how to create an account and all. How to create an account in the AWS Cloud. It is a very simple process. You can go to the AWS Cloud. The website is aws.amazon.com. Let me go here. there is a website called aws.amazon.com. Please go to the website called aws.amazon.com. And here you will be finding an option called create an account. So if you do not find that option, click on sign into the console. See, I'm already having an account. That's why I'm able to log in. Let me log out first. So what you can do is, you can click on sign into the console. You can click on sign into the console. And once you click on sign into the console, you are able to see an option like root user and IAM user. So we'll be discussing about what is who is root user and who is IAM user later. But anyhow, first time, if you are the owner of the account, please remember that if you are the owner of the account, if you are the owner of the account, yes, if you are the owner of the account, you please log in into the account by using a root user, root user credentials. Root user credentials means like the credentials you have, or otherwise the credentials you have given, you have set up while creating an AWS account. So while creating AWS account, you will be providing your mail ID as well as you will be asked to set up the password. So you have to give both of them. So you have to provide your mail ID as root user mail ID and then click on the next button, root user mail ID, click on next button, and then you have to provide password. Once you provide the password, we can able to log in into the AWS cloud. That's fine. Suppose if you want to create an account, here we have an option called create a new account. You see here we have an account called create a new account. So click on create a new account. So here just click on create a new account. You will be able to see some options here, how to sign up for the AWS, and you have to provide your root user email address. I'm just discussing with you now how to create an AWS account. We are now seeing that how to create an account in the AWS. That is what we are going to understand now. So please provide your root user email address. Similarly, also provide AWS account name. Click on verify. So your email address will be verified and you will get some OTP to the mail, and then you have to enter that OTP and all. So your account verification will goes. Okay, it will verify your account, and then to create an account in the AWS. So you should have some debit card or credit card. So you must use some debit card or credit card, which is enabled for international transactions. So you might get a doubt, what is this international transactions? So in the internet banking, if you go to internet banking, you might have an option. You might be able to see an option called internet banking, local transactions like domestic transactions and international transactions. Please enable the option called international transactions. Please enable or please go with the option called international transactions. So once you enable international transactions, you can use that card for creating an account in the AWS cloud. Okay. So make sure you can use any debit card or credit card. Make sure that card is enabled for international transactions so that you can able to create an account. Very easily. So please create an account. So that is a very simple process. You don't need to worry about much. You can create an account in the AWS by clicking on create a new account. I told you, right? The website you have to go is aws.amazon.com. So please go and click on create a new AWS account. Just click on AWS, click on create a new AWS account. Provide your root user email address. That means provide your email address, provide your account name here, provide your email address, provide your account name, and click on the verify email address. Just click on verify email address. Just click on verify email address. You will be getting some OTP. We will be verifying. So our email account will be verified. Then after that, it will be asking you some details. It will be asking you some details on like providing your address and all. You can provide all the details. The final step will be like, it will ask you to provide your card details. You have to provide, it will ask you to provide the card details. You have to provide either your debit card or credit card details, which is enabled for international transactions. First, you can use your card. You can use your card. You can provide your details and you can verify. So once an account is created, once it accepts the card, that's fine, no issue. If it is not accepting the card, then what can we do is, please check with international transactions. Okay, please do check with international transactions, and then you can go for please check with international transactions. So once the international transactions is enabled, then we can go for that particular card will also be accepted. Okay, so if there is a problem, the problem will be like that option. If the option is not enabled, international transaction option is not enabled, that might be the problem. So please check with that option. Otherwise, you can able to create an account in the AWS successfully. So we can create an account in the AWS successfully. That's fine. That's not an issue. Once we create an account in the AWS, then we will be signing into the AWS account. We'll be signing into the AWS. One second. Right. So if you want, see, once after creating an account, we can log in into the account by using root user credentials. So I'm providing my email ID. My email ID is like my email ID is this one. I'm providing this mail ID. I'm going to click on next. Then I will be giving my password. Once you provide your email ID and password, then you are able to click on. You can able to click on sign in button. So once we sign in, then we can able to see the list of services that are provided. Once you click on sign in button, you can able to see the list of services provided in the AWS cloud. Okay, so that's fine. Now you see, I'm going to click on, see what is the first service we are going to discuss. So anyhow, these are the services that we are going to discuss in the AWS cloud. First service is EC2. So let me talk about EC2 service. What is this EC2? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. What is the purpose of EC2? So EC2 is mainly for, let me tell you, EC2 is mainly for creating servers. EC2 is mainly for creating servers in the AWS cloud. What do you mean by creating servers? What is the need? What is the necessity of creating servers in the AWS cloud? Is there any necessity? Yes. So yes, we might create servers in the AWS cloud instead of creating servers in the on-premises. So usually in companies, we'll be having server rooms and we will be maintaining our servers there in the server room. We'll be maintaining all our servers at the server room. So now it is not necessary. Why? Because cloud is providing you the services with very low cost. That's why you don't need to go for it on premises. You don't need to buy a computer, or you don't need to you don't need to buy infrastructure and all. You can go to the AWS cloud. You can create a server. You can go to AWS cloud. You can go to server, right? So you can go to AWS cloud and you can create a server and you can manage these servers. So it is EC2 stands for what? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. That means, so we are going to create some servers in the AWS cloud. If I want to create servers, what is the service I have to use? I have to use a service called EC2 if I want to create servers. So let me show you. Server is nothing but a computer. What do you mean by server? Don't confuse, no confusions. You no need to confuse here. When I'm using the word server, server is nothing but a computer. But it is a powerful computer. Maybe, see here, we are not only going to create the powerful servers. Maybe if we require some small configuration instances also, we can create under EC2 service. If you want highest configuration servers, we can create under EC2. Otherwise, if you want small systems, which can be used for personal purpose also, we can create under EC2. That isn't problem. Okay. So now let's understand what is this EC2. I already told you EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Let me go open the service. I'm opening a service called EC2. The main purpose of EC2 is we can create computers or servers under EC2. And this is the EC2 dashboard. How we are going to the service called EC2? We are just clicking on a particular service called EC2. You see, we are just clicking on a particular service in the dashboard. Click on services. You just click on EC2. Click on services and just click on EC2. See, we can able to see some dashboard here. Okay, we can able to see some dashboard. So otherwise, if you are not able to find out the service called EC2, you can go to the search bar and you can search for a service called EC2. Click on the service called EC2 so that you will be directed to a service called EC2. And this is the EC2 dashboard. This is the EC2 dashboard you are now looking at. This is the EC2 dashboard. And what can we do with this service? You can click on instances running. You can see here the data. Okay, you can see here how many instances we have running here. Only one instance. We have only one instance running here. Click on the instance. You can just click on the instance. Go to the EC2 dashboard. Click on instances. And we have only one instance running here. What do you mean by instance? I'm using the word instance. See, when I'm using the word instance, it is nothing but a computer only. So instance is nothing but computer only. Instance is nothing but computer only. Computer or server, whatever it is. So when I'm using the word instance, please understand that it is nothing but a computer. Okay. So anyhow, we have an instance. Suppose if we have one instance running in the AWS cloud. If I want to create one more instance, if I want to create a new instance, what is the procedure? Click on the instances running. Go to launch instance. Go to launch instance. Click on launch instance. Once you click on the launch instance, you can able to see some options here. So the very first option is that you can provide some name to the server you are going to launch. See, whatever the name you want to provide, you can provide. I am going to provide the server name as server 2. Otherwise, I'm going to provide the server name as my server 1. Whatever the server you want to provide, whatever the server name you want to provide, you can provide. My server 1 I'm providing. I'm coming down. The second step is like whenever you are launching a server, you have to choose some operating system. Why? Because without operating system, we cannot create servers, right? So that's why if you want to create a server, please choose any operating system that is listed out here. We have many operating systems that is being shown here. So what are the operating system? What are the list of operating systems that we are able to see? We have an operating system called Amazon Linux. And we have an operating system called Mac OS. Similarly, Ubuntu OS, Windows OS, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Debian OS. All these are the list of operating systems that are available with us. We have these many operating systems are there. You can choose or you can go with any operating system. You can choose or otherwise you can go with any operating system. So suppose I am going to choose an operating system called Amazon Linux. Consider I am selecting an operating system called Amazon Linux. So when I am selecting an operating system called Amazon Linux, when I am choosing an operating system called Amazon Linux, that doesn't mean that you are going to create a server. You are going to create a server with an operating system called Amazon Linux. We are choosing an operating system called Amazon Linux. Okay. So for the server we are creating, the operating system will be Amazon Linux. You will get Amazon Linux as an operating system for your server. Then come down. So when we come down here, we have another option. Okay, we have an option called instance type. What is this instance type? So whenever you are creating a server, you need to choose what is the CPU and what is the RAM size for your instance. So please choose what is your category. What can be your category? Suppose if you want only one processor. So what will come with this T2.micro? When I choose T2.micro, what are you going to get? So when I choose T2.micro, you will get one CPU as well as 1 GB memory. We will get one CPU and 1 GB memory. 1 GB memory means what? Suppose 1 GB memory means 1 GB random access memory. If it is asking, see, when we are saying that the instance type is T2.micro, the instance type is T2.micro doesn't mean that one CPU and 1 GB memory we are going to get. So like that for different instances, the different categories will be there. So you can go with another instance called T2.nano. So when I choose T2.nano, again same one CPU will come, but only 0.5 GB RAM will come along with this category. If I choose this category, I'll get only one CPU as well as only 0.5 GB RAM. 0.5 is obviously, it is lesser than 1 GB RAM. So if you feel that this particular configuration is sufficient, If you feel this particular configuration is sufficient, yes, we can go with this particular configuration. Otherwise, if you feel you need more configuration, you can go with the other components called other categories like T2.small and all. Under T2.small, you will be getting only one CPU as well as 2 GB of RAM. You will get one CPU as well as 2 GB RAM. Okay, under this instance type called T2.small. Similarly, we have T2.medium, T2.large, all these things. So if you keep on observing, whenever I'm going with other categories, number of CPUs are increasing and the RAM size will also be increasing. Please remember that 4 GB memory is nothing but 4 GB RAM. 4 GB memory is nothing but 4 GB RAM. So under T2.medium, if T2.medium is the instance, if T2.medium is the instance, we are going to get 2 CPUs and 4 GB random access memory. That is fine. Next step. Under next step, if you go to the next step, it is asking to download the key pair. What do you mean by key pair? So key pair is mainly for connecting securely to your instance. See, we are creating our instance in the AWS cloud. We are creating our instance in the AWS cloud. And we are creating our instance in a particular region. Presently, I'm in the Mumbai region. I already told you some geographical locations, about 25 geographical locations in the AWS cloud. So there are 25 geographical locations as of now. So in any location, you can create your infrastructure. I am creating my infrastructure. If I create this server here, I am creating my infrastructure here in the Mumbai region. Why? Because my region is showing as Mumbai. If you want to switch, you can switch by selecting here, by selecting the option here. You can choose the drop-down menu in the drop-down option here in the Mumbai region. It will display the list of regions. You can select any availability region. You can create your infrastructure. So key pair, main purpose of key pair is to securely connect to your instance. So if you want to connect to your instance once after creating, so definitely you require a key pair. You need to create a key pair for that. So how to create a key pair? We have an option here. You can click on create a key pair. You can provide some key pair here. What is the name of the key pair? That is up to you. You can provide any name. You can provide any name. So since this is my server, I am giving my server KP, my server 1 KP. In this way, you can provide. Okay, in this way also you can provide. And once after providing the key pair name, downside you have two options: key pair type and private key file format. Once we go to this private key pair type, there are two options again: RSA and ED 25519. See, both are some encryption techniques actually. RSA is one encryption technique. The ED 25519 is also an encryption technique. What do you mean by encryption? Encryption means, so here it will encrypt the key. Encrypt means it will change the key into some other format. So whatever the key we are downloading, whatever the key we are creating here, that key will be downloaded. That key pair will be downloaded in some encrypted format. So for encryption, we are using different standards. RSA is one encryption algorithm. ED 25519 is one encryption algorithm. So either you can use any encryption algorithm, and you see ED 25519 is not supported for Windows instances. ED 25519 is not supported for Windows instances. It will be supported only for Linux instances. So as of now, I'm keeping this as RSA. I'm coming down. File format will be like two formats. Two formats will be there. Whatever the key pair you are downloading, the key pair will be downloaded in two different formats. Either it will download in private key, either it will download in PEM file, Either it can be downloaded with an option called .pem. Otherwise, it can be downloaded with an option called with an extension called ppk. Either it can be downloaded with an option called with an extension called .pem. Otherwise, it can also be downloaded with an extension called .ppk. Both extensions we can use. Private key file format. So I'm just creating a key pair. Once I click on create a key pair will be downloaded. What is the name of the key pair that is downloaded? My server 1 KP. My server 1 KP is the key pair that is downloaded. My server 1 KP is the key pair that is downloaded. So the next option, network settings. I am not going with the network settings. Okay. I am not going with any network settings now. In the further discussions, we'll be understanding about the network settings. Configuration storage, the last one. See, under this configuration storage, we are having an option called, see, it is providing, by default, it is providing up to 30 GB. You can use up to 30 GB if you are using a free trial version. If you are using a free trial version, you can use the storage up to 30 GB. But by default, how much size it is taking now? Only 8 GB. By default, it is taking only 8 GB. So if you want to increase this capacity, we can increase. What is the maximum size? 30 GB. Okay. For suppose, see, this 30 GB only, this 30 GB is for free tier eligible customers. It is not for everyone. Only free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of storage. Otherwise, once you subscribe this account, once you are enabled for billing, you can use up to 64,000 storage, 64,000 something storage. So that maximum value will also be shown there. By default, anyhow, it is taking only 8 GB. It is taking only 8 GB. If you want to increase this 8 GB to 10 GB, you can increase it. Right? You can do it. So I'm coming down. The last option, it is showing like summary. I'm giving, if you go to summary, after all the options, if you go to summary, it will ask you how many instances you want to launch. So as of now, I want only one instance to launch. That's why I'm giving the number as 1 and I'm going to launch the instance. So you can see here, view all instances. Click on view all instances. And whatever the instance we have launched just now, that is called, whatever the instance we have launched just now, that is called my server 1, I think. So this is in the pending state. My server 1 is in the pending state. So let me see. Let me show you. My server 1 is in the pending state. Okay. You can connect to the server. You can click on the server. You can click on the server and you can go to instance state. This is a server, right? My server 1 is the server I have created and the server is in the running state also. So how to connect to this server? Anyhow, the server is running. The server status is showing as running. You may get a doubt how to connect to the server. Click on the server and top you have an option called connect. Please click on connect option. And then you can go for click on connect option here. Okay. That's fine. Let's see. We have connected C. Once we go to the option called EC2 instance connect, where we are going and where we are connecting, you see, we are going and connecting here. We are going to the EC2 dashboard. We have launched one instance just now. What is the name of the instance? Name of the instance we have launched is my server 1. I am selecting that server. Click on the connect button and then you can go for click on connect option. So that we will be able to connect to the server. So whatever the things you want to do with this server, you can do. If you want to store some data or if you want to install some packages, whatever the things you want to do, you can do with this server. So this is how we will connect internally. See, by using EC2 instance connect option, we are connecting. There are other options also. Okay. We can connect from our local machine to the remote machine. So we have created a server in the cloud, right? So for that server, with this server, We can connect from the local machine also. Even we can connect from the local machine also. So all these things we'll be discussing in the further sessions. So that's it for today. Any doubts you have, please let me know. Any doubts you have, please let me know.